Ready.
Hello and welcome to Ignite Your Destiny. I'm Jamie Marie and I am so excited to welcome Krista Rizzo with us tonight. Hello, Krista.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching.
I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, you need to tell us about.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Can you tell us about your day today? I know the ladies would love to hear that. Or would you rather?
My day today was a little bit crazy. No, it was a good day. I volunteered to chaperone my seventh grader. I have a seventh grade son. He's 12. We live in New York City. So we took the seventh grade, his class, not the whole seventh grade because he goes to a very large school. But we took his class, 28 kids, 29 kids, to the Museum of Natural History today, which is super fun. And it's always, a good time. And there's the Hayden Planetarium. And we went and watched the planetarium that asked the, movie about astronomy. And it was a really good, fun day. But it was, it started at 8:00. And then from there, I got home at 3, and then I had to jump in the car and I went straight to Costco because my little guy just turned 6 on Wednesday. We're having his birthday party tomorrow afternoon. So I had to buy all the stuff for that. And then from there I came home, picked up the boys, and then we went to the elementary school dance, Valentine's dance. And we got home literally an hour ago. So I've just been running around, showering my children, ordering my dinner, making buttercream for Elias's birthday cake. And then I was like, oh, I have 5 minutes. Let me put on some lipstick and fix my hair a little bit and go have an interview with Jamie Marie. So that was my day.
I love it. And it's so typical of what we all experience. So that's why I wanted you to share that.
Yes.
So tell the ladies.
It's not unlike any other day.
We have a delay, don't we? I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's good.
Yeah. So tell the ladies about you.
So I'm Krista Rizzo. I am a transformational life coach, certified, and I'm also an author. My first book is coming out at some point this year. We're still finishing the editing now, so we're hoping to April, May timeframe. And I am also a motivational speaker. I recently just started over the last year or so branching out and speaking to women's groups, and now I am speaking to high school students about motivation and optimism and, mindset and all kinds of great fun things. So it's kind of turning into a thing. And I created a blog, I guess about 8 years ago, called Why Am I Yelling? So that's kind of the name of my coaching practice. And when I first started it, people were like, I'm not yelling. I don't like it. They were taking the yelling as like a negative connotation. And for me, yelling, I'm an Italian girl from New York City, so I yell about a lot of things. And it really is about what you're passionate about. It's about, getting excited on the sideline at your kid's soccer game, or celebrating a milestone, or the birth of a child, or a wedding, or a birthday, or sometimes actually yelling for yelling. So that's me in a nutshell. I live in New York City with my husband and my 2 kids, and we are an extremely active and crazy family, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. And I love how you said, so it kind of became the thing, because you weren't planning on it, but no. It definitely has turned into that. So when did you really feel like it, you started to see the way it was going to go?
From like transitioning into the coaching thing.
Yeah. And your public too, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't even know. It's crazy how this whole thing, I started coaching about 3 years ago and started my own business and left corporate America. I had a 16-year job with a Fortune 10 company, and I did very well there, but it just I wasn't feeling it. So I left there, took some time off, and decided to, work with a career coach who suggested to me as we were going through the journey of what I'm going to do next. She was like, you should be a coach. I don't know what you're doing. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So I, investigated it, and was like, this is what I should be doing. And I was writing and doing all the things at the time, right? So that's kind of how I got to coaching. And, you know, I started my coaching career, and the logical thing was, why don't you go and be a business coach? And I was like, but I don't want to go back into an office, and I don't want to, that's not really, and I was hot in the middle of having 2 kids and having this life and trying to figure out where everything fit together.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on parenting. I think people need parent coaches. Like, that's a thing, isn't it? So I started out as a parenting coach, and what I came to realize was people would come to me. I did a lot of couples coaching, parent moms and dads. And they would come to me and we'd start talking, and we'd realize halfway through our first conversation that it's not the parenting that they're having a problem with. It's the relationship and the communication that they're having together.
Wow.
To forge this parenting relationship and experience that's missed, that it's like this. It's not this. It's like this. So that kind of morphed into more of a relationship kind of coaching. So my coaching has evolved as well, right? So now I was a parenting coach, and now I'm a relationship coach. And then it was like, you know, people were coming to me for business advice because I had left my job, and how do you transition and all the things. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to call myself a transformational life coach.
I love it.
And do all the things, right? Because for some reason, you know, when you go into coaching, everyone's like, niche down, and find your people. And that's it. But for some reason, I kept finding all the people, which is great. But it's like, okay, I'm not niching down the way everybody says you're supposed to. So for me, it's been a little bit different. The speaking thing really started as a thing to go along with my parent coaching. I had a gig with Babies R Us for a year and a half about, and I'd go to their stores and I would host seminars for new and expectant parents. And that's kind of where I got the bug. I was like, I really like this. I like standing in front of these people. I like telling them stuff. I like talking to them. I like interacting. I like doing all that stuff. So that's kind of where it changed. And then, you know, now it's really just, I'm so passionate about the message that I'm sending to, you know, women and to the world and to now our kids through the high schools and the schools that I'm working with, that it's like, I don't want to be anywhere else. Like, I want to be in front of these people, and I want to be like screaming it from the rooftops how important it is to love yourself and respect yourself and be empowering of yourself so you can do all of that for everybody else in your life.
Yes.
So that's it, really.
so important. I love how you're like, that's it, really.
That's all I got.
So now you got me giggling. So share with us, you know, give us what you would tell somebody about taking care of themselves and their relationships and how that impacts us. You know, like, I want to say, like, here you go, here's the floor, because I think you got it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is a summit for moms, and here's what I know best about being a mother. It is the hardest job on the planet. You can go out and run businesses. You can go out and run multiple businesses. You can do a lot of different things, but really the hardest job and the most rewarding job at the same time, strangely enough,
yes,
is that of being a parent, right? And we're also women. So for us, we are wanting to do all of the things all of the time for everybody else. And it's very easy to forget that this person right here actually matters the most. And it sounds very selfish to say when it actually comes out of your mouth. But when you sit back and think about it, and you think about your emotional health and your mental health and your physical health, it all starts here with yourself. And you can't be 100% for everybody else if you're not 100% for yourself. You can fake it. And I'm sure we've all done a really good job at faking a lot of things, but you're never going to really feel it until you actually walk the walk and talk the talk. And I learned that. I had to learn that the hard way, much like just about every other mother that I know, right? Like we've all sacrificed ourselves. We've all, been bone tired. Like tonight I'm going to go, after this, I'm frosting birthday cake. Like
Right.
it's a never ending job. Right. And it's 9:20 at night. And I can remember working a full-time job in corporate America in New York City, commuting every day. I had one kid in one school, another kid in daycare. Um, there was just a lot going on in our lives, and you're trying to do all the things. And all of a sudden, one day, the train hits you, and it's like, I can't do this anymore. But it hits you in a way that it's like, and I don't know how I'm not going to do, like, I just don't know. And my problem was I wasn't asking anybody for help. It was like, I can just do all of it. I can schedule and pay the bills and get these kids and not have anybody else have to worry about anything. But then it was like, wait a minute, that's not fair either. So I had to have a little bit of a breakdown. And, but the good thing for me is that I have an excellent support system around me. Like my husband literally looked at me on the floor crying, and he was like, just tell me what you want. Like, what do you want? Just, what do you need? I will look. What do you want me to do? Like, you have to tell me. I'm a guy. You have to tell me what to do. Right. And I don't know why sometimes maybe it's fear, or maybe it's, lack of us feeling like we can't, like not being Superwoman. But guess what? You're not going to be Superwoman without a Superwoman support system behind you. Yeah. And I don't know if and it could be in the form of a lot of different ways, right? It could be your spouse. It could be your partner. You could be a single parent. So now you have a whole network, your village, your tribe, however it is that you've made it work. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because once you do, your whole life will change. And then you get to, move stuff around and schedule things over here. And now you've got a chunk of time for this and a chunk of time for that. And give it to yourself, because you do deserve it. We all deserve it. We deserve our extra 5 minutes in the morning without anybody bothering us with our cup of coffee. We deserve our hour at the gym, if that's what we want to do, 7, 3, or 5 days a week. We deserve to go get our nails done. Like, I need to get my nails done. We deserve all of these things. We do so much for so many other people that you shouldn't feel guilty for standing up and saying, you know what? I need 5 minutes. I need to go have dinner with my girlfriends. I need to go have 2 nights away with my friends, or just by myself, so I can just calm down and relax and rejuvenate. And I will be better for everybody else in my life when that happens.
Yes. And I know when my kids were young, I actually used to do that. I would either, go shopping, window shopping typically, or I would go somewhere just so I could do that and decompress, because it's such your body's just in a chronic state of stress, in my opinion, so that taking care of yourself is so important.
I love that. Chronic state of stress. That's all I'm in. Like chaos all the time. No, it's true. And I think, I think so many women, we have a hard time accepting that. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, we want to be all the things all the time for everybody. And then we feel guilty about it. It's like, well, now I can't do this because am I not strong enough? Can I not handle it? And it's like, we put so much pressure on ourselves, and in real life, no one else is putting that pressure on us. It's just us, really. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, no one's coming to you and saying, you're not doing enough for me. No one's ever said that to me, So I don't know. We're built in a way that we are complex human beings, and, we really need to just take the time and understand that time for us is just as important as the time that we give to everybody else.
Yes, completely. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to something you said a minute ago, and it might be a new product that you need to make, but how would you suggest a woman go about building a Superwoman support system?
Well,
Because
It's
I like
funny that you're asking me this question. No, I love this. I think it's a great question. It's funny. My first book is about relationships, and I don't just talk about one specific relationship. I talk about all of them, which is why I think it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with, the first section of the book is about self-love, and it's about the importance of loving yourself, mind, body, and spirit. And then the second part of the book is, your relationships with everybody else, with your kids and your partners and all the relationships you have in your life, your girlfriends, your guy friends, like all of them, and how they've turned you into the person that you are. So I think, this also is a conversation that I have a lot, because especially for new moms, we all have a hard time trying to find our people, right?
Yeah.
People parent differently, and a lot of times they don't parent not necessarily the same way or in a way that you would agree with, or however, like there's no wrong way to parent. I'm just going to say that out loud in my voice, because my least favorite thing on the planet is a judgmental mother. Like, I cannot stand judgmental mothers. It's like, guess what? Not everybody is doing what you're doing, but everybody's killed, or we're all still alive. We've all made it. So pat her on the back and be on your way. Sometimes it just doesn't click, right? But when you find your people, you find your people. And I think that, you start with your core values, and it's not easy to make friends, or maybe it is easy to make friends for some people, but I know for me, when my oldest one was 8 months old, we moved from Manhattan to Brooklyn. So we're still in the city, but we're in one of the other boroughs. And for me, it was a hard transition, because I stayed home with him for a year, and everybody else, all the other moms, worked. So it was like, I had to be friends with the nannies and the babysitters, and that was kind of hard. And then I finally found some other moms in the park, and then our kids met. And now, that we're all on each other's speed dial, and, you find your tribe because they're people that you trust, and they are people that you would give your children to if there was an emergency or a sleepover or whatever. And, my parents don't live here. They live in Florida. So a lot of people are fortunate enough to have their parents by them and have that kind of support system. But I think it's important to find people that you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Your spouse, of course, or your partner, whoever you're co-parenting with. And if you're co-parenting and you're not together in a relationship, that's a whole other conversation that we need to have, because that needs to be cohesive and strong, no matter what your relationship is, right? Keep it together for the kids.
Yeah.
And, don't say nasty things about each other in front of the kids. You can say it all you want behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of different elements and a lot of different layers, and every situation is different. And, don't, it's the old adage, don't judge anybody until you've walked in their shoes. Yeah. And I don't know, and, you've got 4 kids. I've got 2. You've already doubled. You've surpassed me. It's like, I have no idea what your life is like. It's probably crazier than mine. I think that's great. I'm not going to tell you did it wrong. That would be ridiculous.
Right.
You did it the right way for you.
Right.
So, I think that finding your people is important. And I think having a support system is important. And I think that wanting it is also important, and not being afraid to say, hey, I want this. I want to find, women I can connect with, and I want to be able to lean on my mom a little bit more. And I want to be able to call my husband or my partner, whoever it is that I'm co-parenting with, and say, I really need your help. And I need to build this. We need to build this community, because this community is going to help us move our children along mm-hmm. in a positive way. And then, as your kids grow, you have kids, teachers and coaches and, music teachers and all that, they all come into play, and they all play a very significant part in our kids' lives, mm-hmm. which in turn plays a significant part in our lives.
Yes. And if you don't nurture that, it can be bad too. So yes,
it can.
I firmly believe that we need that support system. And I know that it is hard for women You know, I hear that all the time. It's so hard to ask for help. And it's just so funny, but yet it's not funny because I understand too. I'm that way sometimes as well.
Yeah.
And I just thank society for that. You know, I don't know if it's the future or past generations that have put that expectation or where it's come about, but it's definitely important to be able to do that and accept the help, because
that's key.
No, you know, but accept that as a gift.
And it is a gift. And, you know, but, and it's funny because we don't think about it, but how many times do we go out of our way to help other people, to help our friends, to help our children, to help our husbands, to help our spouses, to help our partners, whatever, help our schools and our teachers and all the things, right? We don't think twice to say, okay, sure, I'll help you. But we think twice when we say, hey, can you help me?
Yes. It's kind of backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we deserve that. We deserve help in that time. But yes, the support system, you know, I loved how you said being Superwoman. I was like, I want to use Superwoman support system.
It's good.
But I love that, because if we don't have that support system in place, I mean, we both know we're gonna have a really hard time, you know, just going about the rest of our day. But is there a time in your life that maybe you want to share with the ladies that you didn't have that support system in place and how it impacted you, or the opposite? You know, I mean, how the growth you've been able to do.
I think, you know, when I really learned that asking for help was something that I needed to do, and it was going to make all of us better at whatever jobs we were doing or whatever lives we were deciding to live. It was a few years. It happened probably 5 or 6 years ago. And it really was that. It was like I couldn't do anymore. I was exhausted. I had 2 small children, a full-time job, at all these things. And, you know, I knew in the back of my head that I already had that support system. My husband's he's amazing, and I've got great friends and all those things. I just didn't know how to ask. And there's not a really right way to ask. It's just like, hey, I just need help. That's it.
Right.
And, you know, it doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be informal. It really is. It's like, it was more of like I'm drowning, somebody needs to save me kind of thing. But I think that, you know, for all of us, it's different, and we all experience it at different times. And some of us, you know, don't experience it until our kids are older. And some of us experience it literally from the minute our kids are born. Right. And it's just part of how we all evolve. And I think that being aware of it really, even before we have kids, right? I mean, this doesn't have to be because we're moms, but you know, a lot of times it like gets triggered then. But I do think that women today are doing a much better job of voicing what they want. I mean, look at the news. Look at what is happening in society, right? So we're not, you know, blind to it. But I think, you know, women today and women of a younger generation than I certainly am, they don't have a problem speaking up, and they don't have a problem saying, no, guess what? I matter. And I'm going to do this first. And I want to experience this, and this before any of this shows up. Right. And it's funny because I was with my son's 7th grade class today, and the girls in the class were walking through one of the exhibits at the museum. And someone was, and there was this huge, like there was a trunk of a tree from like one of the redwoods in like the redwood forest. And it was, you know, they're huge. And one of the girls was like, that's not like, I've never seen a tree that big. And I'm like, because we don't live where trees that big exist. They exist in the middle of the country. They live in the redwood forest. They're in the Pacific Northwest. And she's like, how do you know? And I'm like, because I've seen them. And she's like, you have? And I'm like, yes, I have. And I said, ladies, let's have this. If you don't hear one thing out of my mouth today, hear this. You need to explore the world. you need to expand yourselves. Listen, we already live in the best city on the planet. So you're very, very fortunate that you get to live here and you get to come to the Museum of Natural History and you get to see the Empire State Building every day and you get to see things that a lot of people don't get to see on a daily basis. And we take it for granted. I absolutely know that we do. But there's so much out there for you to experience. There's green grass and we have that too. But there's trees that are the size of, small houses. And it really, do me a favor. Promise me this, ladies, that you are going to explore things and do things and see things before you decide that you want to settle down. You're all 13 years old. Don't do anything crazy. Go live your life and enjoy it, because the minute that you don't, you're going to regret it. And I don't want anybody to do any kind of regretting, especially now, because it's so accessible and it's so available to you. And it's not, technology is a great thing, but it's not such a great thing, because you get this phone and all of a sudden everything's at your fingertips and it's instant gratification and it's all these things. And you're like, I've seen it, but you haven't seen it until you've actually experienced it. So we had a whole big talk about experience and opening up their minds and really, the availability to these kids and to all of us really it's quite unbelievable. And so take advantage of that.
Yeah. And I love that you get a chance to speak into those kiddos in that way,
It's fun.
And I even see you as more of a family coach, because you're hitting in different areas, I mean,
one more thing.
Yeah. I'm like, I see you're doing every part of the family. So I love that. So what would you say to the mama or the woman that's stuck in corporate that is just miserable, and they're so exhausted and just don't know who they are anymore, but they want to step out and either share their voice or their story,
Well, I think never be afraid to share your story, because the world needs more stories, and we all have very different stories and very significant stories. And even if it doesn't resonate with this person, it might with this person. And, it's hard to be in a spot where you're not, feeling fulfilled. And I was there, and that's why I left my job. And, I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm not happy. And that was showing in not just my professional life, but it was, it spills, everything spills over. Mm-hmm. So I would say, evaluate what you really want and what you think is really important for you. And, think about what you want to do, right? I talk a lot lately about finding your it. And it's not about, everyone talks about finding your why. Why do you do it? Why do you do everything you do? Why? But really, find your it. What is it that lights you up? What is it that you want to be doing? What are you so passionate about? And it could be a hobby. It doesn't have to be a job, right?
Yeah.
Just do it. If you want to, if you are passionate about swimming, then go find a pool and swim in it before you go to work every day. If you're passionate about, fundraising for your kids' charity or whatever, then go find time to do it. I think that's really important. And I think we spend a lot of time lately, like thinking about why we're doing everything. And we're forgetting that what we're doing has to be important too. Right. So I was not happy in my job, and that was not my it. I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just not.
Right.
And when I found it changed my life. Like, I look different. I act differently. Because I know that this is it. This is my it. And when you feel that way about something, everything just kind of starts falling into place. And it might take a little while to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And, if if you're stuck in a job that you don't want to be in, well, then let's figure out how to get you out of it, because there are steps we can take. There are things you can do. You can start a side hustle and make some extra cash, whatever. But if you're not feeling fulfilled professionally, then that's spilling into your personal life. And then that's going to start, the snowball's going to turn into an avalanche at some point. And you're going to be on the floor like I was, in a puddle, crying about, I don't know what I want to do. And that's the last place you ever want to be, but it might have to be the place you need to go to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And I've been in that puddle, and
it's no fun.
I totally agree. Yeah, it's no fun. When everybody's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Right. I'm a mess. Right.
Yeah. And I completely agree. Like when you step into your it changes you, and you see differently. I feel like, just it's life through a whole new lens. So,
yeah.
What about the woman that doesn't know how to find their it? We're digging a little
I don't believe that even exists. I don't believe that even exists. I think that, sometimes it might take somebody a little bit longer, but I think if you really think about stuff and for a lot of people, it might not even be something that you're even thinking about, right? It might not even be something that's on the radar. It might be something that is so seemingly small to you, right? Like, let's take the mama who is, works a 9-to-5. She's got a couple of kids. She's got a house to deal with. Like, she's got all the things. And she, spends her lunch hour, I live in the city. So you spend your lunch hour, you go downstairs, you go to like the Ann Taylor or the shoe store or the wherever, right? You walk through Lord and Taylor, you walk through Macy's. You do, like, that's how you spend your lunch hour, or you go meet a girlfriend for lunch, or, whatever. She might be really passionate about the way she looks. She doesn't even know it, right? But it's important to her, like her presentation and like the way she shops and the clothes that she buys. And she might be really good at finding stuff on sale and like buying like the expensive stuff on sale at 70% off. And then you realize that this lights me up. Like, I like this. I love fashion, and I love, this, and I like to get it on a budget. So now guess what? You might actually want to be a stylist, or you might want to find a job that lights you up in the fashion industry or in the beauty industry, or like, but a lot of people don't get that granular, right? Like, you don't really think about it. It's like, we all think so big picture that it's like, well, I have to find, like, I don't want to be a lawyer, because then don't be a lawyer. Right. No one's telling you have to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a neuroscientist. Well, then don't, right? But, or maybe you're the person who has all these stories and you write all these journals, and writing is your passion, and you never even thought to turn it into a blog, right? Or a book.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I know somebody that writes, and they're like, I have so many books already written that I didn't even realize,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I completely agree. I feel like it's just inside of us. And, like you said, recognizing that thing that just lights us up and brings us joy, and just really paying attention and being aware of those things. It's not dishes for me. I don't know about you. So, I'm sure.
Or laundry.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure there's somebody that likes it, not me.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to stop talking. I say that, like, especially Patricia, when I talk with Patricia.
She's crazy. I love her.
Yes. So I'm kind of doing the same thing. Like, my head's going in 10 different directions. So the ladies watching are probably going to get used to hearing me say that. This is my squirrel. But tell the ladies where they can find you, or if they want to, hear you speak. Where can they come seek you out?
So the name of my everything is Why Am I Yelling? So I have whyamiyelling.com as my website, and that has all the events that I have upcoming. Right now I'm doing high schools, so you can't really come see me. But if you want to bring me to a place, a women's group, or an event that you're having, I'm always available for that. I do speaking engagements, so I travel, so whatever. I have a Facebook group, Why Am I Yelling Facebook group, and I have a business page there. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and all the things, so follow me. I'm at Why Am I Yelling with an underscore on Instagram and on Twitter, I think. Everything else is just Why Am I Yelling. If you Google Why Am I Yelling, you pretty much I will pop up. It's been around for a while, and I have a blog. And if you go to my website, you can sign up for my newsletter, and that comes out once a month. I'm not a spammy. I don't send a lot of emails during the month. I send one usually, and it really is just a newsletter. What's going on? Here's how to find me, and all that stuff. So I'm accessible.
Awesome. And we'll put links below as well to make that easier for everybody. And
good.
you have a special gift that you're going to share with everybody.
So I have a few different PDFs for you guys. I will figure out the best way for you to get them. I'll have my assistant do like an opt-in or something, but I've got a ways to ask for help PDF and a couple of other self-love, self-care, self stuff PDFs. So I'll do a little package for you guys and you can have that.
Awesome. Thank you for that. The ladies are excited. You guys have to go grab that. Those links will be below, definitely. And before we finish up, is there anything else that you would want to share with a woman that might be watching that, is just looking to fulfill their destiny or find their purpose?
Here's what I want to say. That it's okay to not know, but it's not okay to not do anything about it. So ask for help, take time for yourself. Really start. I'm a big meditator. Like I just started doing it and I love it. Find something that is going to like keep you grounded and clear your mind and clear your soul and be grateful for your journey. Practice gratitude every single day. Be thankful for the life that you have. Be thankful for the journey that you're on, even the bad stuff, because it really does make you who you are. And we grow and change and evolve so much every single day that the person that you are today is not the person that you're going to be in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, even 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months.
Yeah.
So it's okay. And that's okay. So every single one of you guys, I love all of you and you're worth all the things on the planet. So treat yourself that way because you deserve it.
Yes. Good job on that one. You said that so beautifully.
Oh, thanks.
Well, it has been amazing. And I so appreciate you taking time out to speak into the women's lives and share your heart and your experiences. And on a funny note, when you were telling me about your day, I was thinking, and why am I yelling? I can't figure out why I'm yelling. Like it fits so perfect. I mean, I know that's not like your meaning, but I love that.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. Thank you so much for having me. It was so great to be here.
Yes, awesome. Well, ladies, we will see you on the next side. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.